By now your bike's either arrived on your front porch or you've picked it up from your local freight company. Now to assemble the bike. First we'll start by opening the box and removing all the packing material from around the bike and the wheels. You'll want to make sure to locate the small parts packages. Once all the packing material is removed, you'll notice the saddle and seat post in between the stays of the assembled frame. The wheels and the assembled frame will be divided by a protective cardboard sheet. You'll want to make sure to remove everything from the box, just to make sure nothing has come loose. Once you have everything removed from the box, you'll notice an assembled frame, the wheels, seat post and saddle, and your small parts from your small parts kit. Your next step will be to remove the frame from the cardboard protector. This can be done by cutting all the zip ties attaching the frame to the cardboard. Once you've removed the cardboard protector, remove all the rest of the packing material from the frame. Be sure to take care when doing this as to not scratch or damage the frame. Next, you'll want to use your empty box as a stand. This will make it easier to make the front end accessible to attach the handlebars. Next, you'll want to use a T27 Torx key or a 4mm hex wrench and loosen the stem from the steer tube. Rotate the stem to the forward position and then lightly snug it back down. Next, using a 4mm hex wrench, or in this case a T25 Torx key, you'll want to remove the stem faceplate. Next, we'll bring the handlebars up to the open stem. Place them in the open stem, but don't worry about the orientation of the bars at this point. Next, we will reinstall the stem faceplate. When installing the stem faceplate, you'll want to make sure to evenly install the bolts in a cross pattern. Start with the top left, then go to the bottom right, then the top right, then the bottom left. Once your bolts are close to snug, you'll then want to orient the bars, making sure they're aligned and even. Then, snug down the stem faceplate. Next, you'll want to use a certified torque wrench and torque your stem faceplate down to the handlebar manufacturer's recommended torque settings. Next, we'll install the seat post. Slide the seat post in past the minimum insertion point marked on the post. Then, using a 4mm hex key, snug down the seat post clamp. You may have a Di2 or an electronic system. If this is the case, locate the Di2 wire using the Di2 tool in your small parts kit connected to the seat post battery. Make sure to check the proper torque spec for your seat post. Next, we'll reorient the bike so the rear is accessible. Next, we'll install the rear derailleur. Using a 5mm hex key, locate the attachment point. Roll the derailleur forward so the hanger and the derailleur align properly, and then snug down the rear derailleur. Once this is snug, you'll want to ensure that the derailleur is tight and securely attached. You may have a Di2 or electronic system. If this is the case, next you'll need to insert the Di2 wire into the derailleur. Next, we'll remove the through axle and the dropout protector. Before installing the rear wheel, we'll need to remove the rotor spacer from the brake caliper. Then, take your rear wheel, align the chain with the cassette and the disc rotor with the brake caliper. Once this is done, your axle should slide into the through axle dropout. Then, install the through axle, threading it in all the way. Once this is threaded in, snug it down, You'll notice by pulling out on the handle, you can change the orientation. If your bike is a non-disc model, open the small parts package and locate the quick release skewers. Install these into the wheel axle, open the quick release, align your chain and your cassette, and then insert your rear wheel. Then check your brake alignment. Next, you'll want to remove the fork protector from the dropouts. Then, remove the disc rotor spacer from the caliper. Then, align your front disc rotor with your front brake caliper and insert the axle in between the fork dropouts. Then, install your front through axle from the non-drive side. Snug this down, and like the rear, you'll notice by pulling out on the handle, you can change the orientation. If you have a rim brake model, install the quick release skewer in your wheel, align your front wheel in the fork, and then tighten down the quick release skewer. Next, we'll check your headset preload. Start by loosening the stem from the steer tube, then hold the front brakes and rock the bike back and forth. If you feel a knocking in the front end, you'll need to tighten the stem top cap using a 5mm hex wrench. Rotate the bars side to side to ensure there's no resistance. Then, align your handlebars with your front wheel and tighten down the stem bolt onto the steer tube. Make sure you're using a certified torque wrench and torque this to 8 Nm. Last, we'll want to check the stem bolt, the stem faceplate handlebar attachment bolts, and the seat post, and ensure that all the bolts are torqued down to the proper torque specs. Refer to the manufacturer's torque specifications for each individual part.